Hello everyone. Yeah, we are back again. In this video, we are going to see how we can use pytest to perform unit test by calling upon the fixtures module. Okay. In our previous videos, we learned how to write unit tests. Just give a quick summary. And we learned how to use the parameterize decorator by calling at pytest.mark.parameterize. Today, we are going to see how we can use the fixtures decorator also. To begin with, we start by importing our pytest framework. Also, in our previous video, we learned how to use black to correct our test scripts according to PEP 8 rules. You could also use flake 8, but I prefer using black. I don't have any particular reason. I just prefer using black. So that's it. Yeah. So in this video, we'll just keep on coding like we did in the previous ones. And if ever we've not respected PEP 8, we will end up using black. It will be another opportunity to show you how to use the black module. All right. So we first begin by importing our pytest. Then we create a fixture to define a list of integers. How do we go about that? You call at pytest, like I said previously, like when you are chatting with your friend on WhatsApp and in a group chat, you use the at and it will call out all the list of people on that group. It's the same way when we use at and we call pytest, it will alert pytest to be attentive to whoever we want to call or whichever module embedded in it that we want to use. So we write at pytest dot, we want to use the fixture module. All right, so this is how we call the fixture module. Then after that, we define the numbers that we want to work on. The fixture module permits us to define a set of numbers to which anytime we perform the test, our test will refer to that set of numbers instead of always repeating the set of numbers in our new function. We will just list it and the fixture will grab it somehow and keep it somehow so that anytime we run the test, it will refer to it. Some of the importance of using fixtures is that it provides constant context for the test. You're going to see this as we go on. And also it can help control the test environment. Okay, so we define our numbers. Like I said, don't worry if you're not complying with PEP 8 rules for now, because afterwards we will use another method to work on that. And we will tell our Python to return a list of numbers. 1, 2, let's just adapt with this one. Now, we are going to define our function to be tested. And as usual, since the beginning of this module, we've been testing a function called add numbers. So as for us to have a very good understanding of how to use these different modules, we are going to use the same method. We are not going to change the function. We are going to define the same add function, add numbers, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to compare how we use pytest.fixtures, how we use the parameterize, how we use pytest, and in unit test. We'll be able to have a very good understanding of it. That is why we haven't changed. We haven't changed the function that we are testing. So we will define our function again this time. And our function is add numbers. This time, when we define add numbers, we will tell Python that add numbers into bracket numbers. Don't forget that we've already defined our numbers here, and we've kept our numbers into fixture. So anytime we pronounce numbers, fixture will vomit out our number. That is the instruction we gave. We told fixture that, hey, pytest and fixture, we want you to keep these numbers. Anytime you see numbers in our code, kindly return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for us. So Python is very obedient. pytest is very obedient. It accepted the information and it has kept it. So now when we define our function, define add numbers, and into bracket, we put numbers. We don't need to write the list of numbers anymore because it will refer to those numbers. Number 2, the method that we are going to use. We are asking Python to return the sum of the numbers that are in this list. And it is still going back to refer to these numbers. All right. Now, so that is our function. Now let's test our function to see if it really works. To test our function, you're going to define our test function as usual. It's the same thing we do all the time. So we define our test function as test add. Okay. So we define the function, and we are so this is our test function. This is the function we're about to test. And we are saying that when it's defined, when it calls out the numbers, what we want it to do is to give us the total of the addition that is going to perform. We are asking it to give us the total of adding these numbers. Okay. Now we ask it to assert for us if after adding all the numbers, we are going to get, first of all, we can do the calculation ourselves. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. We are asking it to check for us if after adding all the numbers, we will get 15. Okay. Now let's try it and see. Okay. We tested it, and let's see. It has tested our test add numbers. And what was the results? The results are found here. We can see that our function test add numbers passed with 100%. Okay, good. That is very nice. Now let's try and find other ways to test our function. Okay, in this case, let's say we are going to define a new function, and you want to know the length of numbers in our list of numbers. So we define another function Let's go to use the test fixture, and this time we are finding the length of numbers. Define. Okay. So we have to define our test. So def test the length of numbers. We want to test the length of numbers in the list. And we are asking, let me write here, length info. And we are asking Python to assert, in other words, confirm for us if length of our number is equal to 5. Now, let's test this and see. We run it. Okay. You see, we passed the test. And yes, the length of the number, sorry, the length of the numbers in the list is 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 uh, um, parameters inside the list. Okay. So we can continue to play with it. We can play with the numbers. We can perform different functions like ask it to multiply all the numbers inside. Can do a whole lot with it. But now to comply with PEP 8 requirements, I'll open a new terminal like we did in the previous video. We will use black Python. This is the command to issue when you want to use black to clean your code. Then you name, after issuing this command, the normal commands, first of all, the normal command to be used is without M. It's without minus M. But I'm using minus M here because my black was not found in my path. So by using the minus M, it helps Python to fish out where the black is and utilize it. So we do that, then we write the name of the file that we want to correct. So it is telling me that it is all done, one file formatted. Let's go back and see. So I click inside and voila, it is now much cleaner, much beautiful. Thank you for watching.